Good morning, everyone, and welcome to our second virtual workshop of 2025. My name is Kathy Sinor. I'm the Director of Administration, Programs, and Grants for the Niagara County Department of Economic Development. And today, I'm honored to be your moderator for our program on export assistance. Before we begin the presentation, I just wanted to go over a few housekeeping items. You will be muted throughout the presentation. And if you'd like to ask questions, you can do so through the Q&A panel at the bottom of your screen or by clicking on the chat button. We'll work to answer your questions as we work through the webinar, but if there's something that we need to follow up with, we'll make sure that we do that after for you. And please note that today is just meant to be an overview of some of the programs that are involved in export assistance. We'd be happy to schedule a meeting with you individually to learn more about your company or discuss the programs if you would like us to do that after the fact. As I mentioned, we will be recording this event. We keep it on our website on the featured events page. You can see that earlier this year we did one on navigating tariffs. So we would encourage you to check that out if that's something that you're interested in. Probably a day or two after the workshop today, we will be putting this on the website. We also plan to host workshops later this year on accessing capital and also on workforce training. So if those are items that you are interested in, please check back on this page on our website. It's under the About Us tab. And as those dates are chosen, we'll put the registration links up there and you can get yourself registered. Finally, before we get started today, I just wanted to provide my contact information. As the Economic Development Department serving Niagara County, we are pleased to host today's event. And I would encourage you to visit our website listed on this slide to learn more about the programs and resources that we have to offer and how we can help your business expand or grow. At this time, I'd like to introduce our presenters for today. First is Mo Sambundu. He is the Western New York International Trade Manager for Global New York and the Director of Community Relations for Empire State Development. We also have Flavio Zenni, who is the Managing Director for Oxy Air Limited. Flavio has utilized the services of Global New York, and he's here today to discuss his interaction with those programs. And we also have Abby Martinez, Finance Manager covering New York and New Jersey for the Office of Manufacturing and Trade for U.S. Small Business Administration. And we also have Victoria Reynolds is on. She may be helping with some of the slides. She is the Regional Director of the Buffalo Office for U.S. Small Business Administration. So with that, I'm going to see, we were having a couple of technical difficulties at the beginning, so I'm just going to see if Mo is now on. It looks like Mo is on.
Yep,
so
I
Mo,
am
the
all
floor
set.
is
I'm on.
yours.
Great. Okay, good morning. Thank you so much, Kathy. Thanks for bringing us together. And it's wonderful to see Flavio. Flavio and I have traveled extensively across the globe, so it's good to have him on. And Victoria and I have been working together, and I think that it's important to always build the federal, state, and county partnership, on the economic development and the international side as well. So, and I'll be looking forward to working with you. So as Kathy mentioned, I'm Mo Sambundu. I serve as the International Trade Manager for Global New York, which is based right here in Western New York. So our region, I cover 5 counties: Erie, Niagara, Chautauqua, Cattaraugus, and Allegheny counties, and with the purpose of helping our businesses here to be able to export their products outside of the United States. Global New York falls under the umbrella of Empire State Development, which is the state's arm of economic development, where we work with businesses to provide grants, loans, and tax credits to help businesses to help businesses expand their footprint here in New York, and also be able to hire employees in our state. Okay, next slide. Okay, next slide.
Did it come through?
Yeah, let's go to the next one. Okay, so the Global New York division was created with the sole purpose of, how do we expand our footprint? One of the things that you can keep going through the slides every 5 seconds, and I'll just run through. So yeah, pause there. So one of the things that we keep hearing is, well, how do we help our businesses expand and export? Well, one of the things that we see across the world is that right now we're seeing a lot of states expand their footprint abroad. They're, like Florida is spending a lot of money, a lot of time, sending their businesses to trade shows and trade missions. So our division is in charge of that here in New York. We want to make sure that as a New York business, you are able to export and expand your products abroad. Because in the United States, we're only 5% of the world's population. We do have 25% of the world's buying power, but there is so much untapped opportunities that we want to make sure that we are at the forefront of it and not on the back end of it. So what we do is we work with, businesses to help them expand their products by, through a couple of different services. One of the things that you will see on this slide is, what do we export from New York? There are several products, and you can see the list here: precious stones and metals, all the way down to artifacts and antiques, as well as plastics. And those are just some of the samples of items that are exported from New York. But if you don't see a business here, that's okay. That just because it's not listed doesn't mean that we don't work with you. We work with almost any business that has a product that they either make or assemble to export. Next slide. So here you can see some of the top, countries that we're exporting to and importing to. Now, people are always asking me, why is Switzerland number two? Um, Usually, if this was a Zoom, I would, ask someone to guess. But because it's not, I'm just going to give you the answer. It's because of precious, stones like the Diamond District in New York City is one of the reasons why, why Switzerland is so high on the list. And on the import side and the export side, it's no surprise because of our relationship with Canada and China and India is a market that we're heavily seeing an expansion in with our businesses. Next slide. So one of the things that the previous slide does that leads into this slide is we look at where business is happening. We look at where the interest is. Where are folks looking to do business? Where are folks doing business? So because of that, we were able to create offices in countries and regions across the globe. So now we have 15 offices with, with staff representing that can help you do business in 187 countries globally. That's amazing. 187 countries. And what does these offices do? They work with you through a program called the EMAS program. Next slide. To help you as a New York State business. Next slide as a New York State business be able to expand in that market. So they work with you on a couple of levels. And one of the things that they do for you is, let's say you are Flavio, you call me and you're interested in, in expanding in Saudi Arabia or somewhere on the African continent. What we will do is you will have you complete the Export Marketing Assistance Service Program application, which is literally just a couple of pages. You can do it in about 15, 20 minutes with basic knowledge of your company. And they will take that information for the next, 2 to 3 months. They will try to, find a potential buyer. Who are some folks who are interested in your product abroad? And they will come back to you with a report saying, this is what we're able to find. Here is who might be interested in your product. And the best part of this is it doesn't cost you a penny. There is zero cost to you for this service. So basically, you're getting a free consulting service to determine if you want to start taking part in doing business in a specific country. And another great part to this whole thing is that you can pick up to 3 markets. So you can you can pick 3 different markets that you have an interest in expanding, and our reps in those markets will work with you. It's separate reports that you will get. Next slide. Okay, great. You guys your report. Now you are like Flavia. You're like, okay, well, I'm ready to travel. I want to go to Israel or I want to go to Dubai. What we will do is we will provide funding for you. We can cover up to 50% of your cost, one employee per company, for you to travel to meet with businesses. Or if you want to go on a trade show, let's say there's a show that's happening in your industry, we can also provide funding for that, for the travel. Um, let's say we are also organizing a mission, like for example, in 3 weeks I'm taking a delegation of businesses to Japan. We will provide up to 50% of their travel costs to travel with us um, to that trade show. In October we are planning a trade mission to go to Canada, which we are organizing. Let's say you are a company that's interested in joining us, we will work with you and provide funding for you to be able to travel with us on that trade mission. And as part of that, both for the trade mission and trade show, our foreign offices will work with you as an individual company to provide a report of potential businesses that you may want to meet with, and they will schedule those meetings for you. So that's an advantage that most states do not have. Next slide. So the maximum we'll provide is up to $10,000. That's our max that we provide because we want to make sure that there's enough money going around. One requirement that is very important: you 51% of your products have to either be made here in New York State or assembled in New York State. That is the one requirement that we have, that we cannot, we cannot go outside of that. Next slide. So outside of the travel, some of the other things that you can use the funding for include website translation. Let's say you are seeing, hits in Qatar or in France or in Germany, or in Thailand. We can work with you to help provide funding for you to translate your website. Or if you're, getting ready to expand in one of those markets, we can also help you with compliance testing to make sure that you can cover the services to be able to make sure that you're in compliance. Next slide. The last program I will talk about is the Global New York Grant Fund. So any of you who have worked with us at Empire State, this is a fund that we administer. Similar to the STEP program, you can use it for travel. You can use it for up to 4 people to travel. Just go to the next slide. Up to 4 people from your company to travel. The one thing is that the reimbursement process takes a little longer. It takes, like a couple of months versus 60 days. But you can apply, if you're a for-profit, you can apply twice a year, up to $25,000. Again, similar to the other programs, it's a 50-50 match. We'll provide funding for you to go, to shows, missions. If you need to do a market certification, we'll also do that as well. If you are a not-for-profit, you are eligible for up to $100,000, and we can count 25% in cash and in kind. Okay, next slide. So one of the great things that we try to do every 2 years is that we have all our foreign offices coming to Buffalo next Thursday, September 11, 9:30 a.m. at the Birchfield Penny Arts Center. I'll repeat that. That's next Thursday, September 11, 9:30 a.m. at the Birchfield Penny Arts Center. You can register, and I am going to send a link where you can register to join us. It is required that you register because we want to, as part of this, is we need to make sure that you are able to meet with one of our representatives from the different countries that are coming. I am just let's see. Okay, I'm just dropping the link in the chat right now so folks can have access to it. It's all the countries that I had mentioned on the screen. all those representatives will be here in Buffalo next Thursday. So you can sit with them, talk about your company, get to know, their country, and they will actually all do a presentation on their countries or their region. So, so that's a great opportunity for you to understand, if you're not sure, to just get a chance to be able to learn about each market to determine what your interest is in. So that's the high level overview. So I will turn it over to Flavio just to talk about some of the trade missions and trade shows that he has participated in with us over the years.
All right. Can anyone else hear me properly?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Well, as Mo has been explaining, well, first of all, let me introduce our company, Oxair. We have been in business since 1988, producing basically oxygen generators. And I want to make a parenthesis here. I just got back from another sales call in Mexico, but I got back and I got sick, and my voice is not up to speed. So I apologize for that, and I may take a moment to clear my voice from time to time. So anyway, what happened is that over the years, starting since I would say 2008, we were attending most of the trade shows in from Dubai, Arab Health, and Medica in Dusseldorf, and FIME in Miami. Our company expenditures back then were about $50,000 to $60,000 a year, and these trade shows they would span over the year, let's say from January to November and June typically. And it was a lot of work because you have to prepare, and it's quite a bit of work. So we continued on our own until 2016. At that point, it was becoming a little more and more expensive. At that time, we discovered Global New York, and since then, we only went to one or two shows a year, and we were participating in some of the trade shows in Israel, in China, South Africa. And basically, I must say that the support that I received from Global New York allowed my company to continue to have a presence in these trade shows. So I cannot complain at all. I would like to say actually that we don't go to every show just for the heck of going to a show, because we don't look at it as a tourism opportunity, but we go there basically to make sure that we end up making contacts and selling things. I just like to bring to the point how this works actually, at least for my company. What happens, for example, taking our Africa Health back in 2017, I think it was around June that we went there. You have to understand that these trade shows, at least the one we attend, is not that we go there and we bring our cookies and we try to sell the cookies right there. It's more of a much longer process where you meet people, you make the contacts, and there is an incubation period, which many times it can take up to a year, 2 years. So as a result of that particular trade show, we met the right contacts in South Africa. And then actually at the beginning of COVID, we were able to provide a large oxygen system for a hospital in the enclave in South Africa known as Eswatini, or sometimes it has been known as Swaziland. So it was quite an accomplishment for a small company like ours to be able to penetrate that market, which is quite restricted. So if we would not have been present at Africa Health in 2017, we would not have been able to benefit from the opportunity to be known as a small company. Again, our presence in the market is mostly in the internet. And when someone looks for some kind of a machine from ours, they look up who makes a particular type of equipment, such as a cylinder filling plant or medical oxygen. And then through these keywords, they have a selection of other competitors as well. And that's really the only way. So one of the problems that we have seen with Google is that you no longer are capable of having a presence in the internet, because basically you have to pay for it. It was not like that some time ago. So considering these shortcomings with the internet, I must say that it was quite crucial to be able to be supported by Global New York, and to be able to interact with them, and being able to be supported. I would greatly advise other companies to consider basically interacting with Global New York, and if they, of course, are in a position to benefit, I think New York State does provide this kind of support packages for small businesses. And when I talk about small businesses, you're really looking at a very small business, okay? We are as small as it gets, because we are a family operated business. We have had employees, but never more than 5 at the time. We do use other companies, local companies, to build some of the equipment. We bring it in and then we test it, and we basically put the final touches. So basically, what can I say? Thanks to all of you. If you have any questions, please let me know.
Thank you, Flavio. We appreciate that, and I'm sure that our attendees do as well, as hearing kind of the other side of it. So we appreciate that. We're going to move on now and talk about some of the programs offered through the U.S. Small Business Administration. So Abby and Victoria, if you're interested in participating with Abby, we would encourage you to, I'm just going to start our slides again. For some reason, they have dropped off. Bear with me for one moment, please.
No problem. And in the meantime, I'll go ahead and kind of thank you, everyone, for being here this morning and joining us. When we talk about export and looking at international opportunities, there's always so many different angles and so many different things we can think about, or that we can even look at, right? You can take a look at, hey, how am I going to sell internationally? It's really a management decision to sell internationally. When you decide as the owner of the company that you're going to do this, you have to understand it's going to be not just an overnight sensation, right? It's going to be a process. And during that process, we're here to help you. We're here to provide you with the resources, like Mo mentioned. We have state partners that work with us, et cetera, right? So like Kathy mentioned, I'm Abby Martinez. I am the finance manager for the New York and New Jersey markets. And I work in the Office of Manufacturing and Trade here at the U.S. Small Business Administration. And on the line, I also have the District Director, Victoria Reynolds, out of the Buffalo District Office, who is also on the line. But we're really here to let you know a little bit about what SBA can offer you. Next slide. So when you think about SBA, we are a federal agency. I don't see that the deck is moving. Oh, there we go. Okay. So we are a federal agency. We're an independent agency. We are here to help the small business. We're here to really help you, counsel you, assist you, help you with any type of competitive advantage that we could offer you, because we understand the small business is the backbone to the economy. We also want to make sure that, we maintain that strength for our economy through the small businesses. We do have 68 district offices, which of course, like I mentioned, Victoria sits at the Buffalo office. And we are really here to help you grow your business. SBA has four main motto, right? We have motto. So we help you start a business. We help you grow your business. We help you expand your business, and we help you recover in the event there's ever a disaster, right? So we definitely, we provide those four. And within those four, we have four pillars of what we call the pillars of SBA. And so we do provide counseling and training for any one of those steps that you're at. We provide disaster relief. We provide federal contracting. Let's say you're a small business and you'd like to provide the federal government with your product. Absolutely, there's an avenue for you to be able to sell to the government. So definitely that's something to take a look at. And as well, we provide access to capital, loans. And again, we don't provide those loans directly. We provide them through a network of lenders that we work with. But either way, that's what we do here at SBA. And I'm going to really be focusing more on the counseling and training and the access to capital for this discussion. Next slide. So as we talk about, or as we think about counseling and training, we really have here at SBA an ecosystem of different resources that are available to you. And those resources could be, as Mo mentioned, and I'll mention this again probably several times today, federal resources, state resources, local resources, whether they be county or whether they be a township, et cetera. So we really do have a lot of resources that are available to you. I will say that we do have our small business development centers, which can help you with a marketing plan. If you're looking to create or looking to sell your product in a certain market, they can help you with that business plan before you go to Mo and ask him that you want to go on a trade show, right? So he'll ask, do you have an international business plan? Do you know exactly what it is that you're looking to do? And, have you spoken to anybody about developing your business further? We have, of course, the women's business centers. Here you have the whole ecosystem of what the Small Business Administration can provide, or that we partner with these resources to help you. And of course, through our district offices, we always provide resources to you. We're always referring companies to a lot of our partners, and just offering, providing them with that help that is needed. Next slide, please. So sometimes as a small business, there may be a challenge in obtaining a business loan, right? And now typically, I will say, in order to obtain a business loan, you have to have at least a year of financials under your belt. Now, most lenders, if you go to a lender, they will say, oh, you have to be in business 3 years in order for us to give you a loan, right? In this case, if they partner with SBA, we allow that you can be in business just 1 year. And in doing so, you can then obtain an SBA-backed loan. What are some of the 5 C's that we look at when a lender is providing a loan to you? They look at your character. What's your credit history, personal and business, right? What is the capacity? What is your ability to repay this loan? If they give you this loan, will you be able to make the payments? Or maybe what you really need is a grant or seed money, right? And that's where some of our state and local resources can help with that type of funding. Capital, how much money have you invested in this company, and what is it that you need to keep the company going? The collateral, what can you provide as collateral to the lender? What is it that you're financing? How could we how could the lender provide you the loan, and with what collateral are you providing? And then again, the conditions, what are the conditions? Are you going to take out, and again, these are just all hypotheticals, but are you going to take out $1 million loan and expect to repay it in 12 months? Crazy, right? But again, what are the terms and conditions that you're looking for in order to make it palatable so that your company can repay, right? And we're looking at all of those things. Next slide, please. So that's kind of where SBA comes into play. Like I said, we don't usually lend directly to companies, but we offer a guarantee to a lender. And now when I say a lender, I'm, it may be a bank, it may be a micro lender, it could be a credit union, it could be an organization that is providing financing, right? So all of these things, all of these can be lenders, or what we consider lenders. So we provide lenders with a guarantee so that it incentivizes them to lend to the small business. Like I mentioned, if you don't have the history of the 3 years of financials, well, with SBA, to get a loan, you could have the 1 year of financials, and that should be or could be sufficient, right? And again, this is where some of those the 5 C's come into play, right? Where let's say you didn't have a great credit history, or maybe your credit score is not that great. Well, it may amplify the range of your credit score, right? So these are all of the different ways that our SBA guarantee could enhance the loan so that the lender will provide you with the financing. Okay, next slide. So what are some of the qualifiers? Of course, and I'm not going to go through all of these, but some of the qualifiers is that you do have to be a for-business company, a for-profit company. You need to be able to create jobs for the economy, create help the economy out. And that's really what we're looking to do here. You have to be independently owned and operated. You have to meet the SBA requirements. Usually, we go by your NAICS code, your North American Industry Classification Code, to be able to determine whether you qualify as a small business or not. In some cases, if you're a manufacturer, you could have up to 500 employees and still be considered a small business, right? So it just depends on your classification. And of course, you have to be a U.S. citizen or legal permanent resident. Next slide. Next slide is some of the disqualifiers. What are the things that would not be able to be qualified, for you to qualify for a loan? So of course, if you are a nonprofit institution, and again, I think some of these things are going to be changing depending on the industry that you're in. I know that we have some things in the works, so I don't necessarily want to just single that out, but I do want to say, if you are looking to do let's say investment property, that does not qualify for us. If you are a lender yourself, and you're going to be re-lending, you do not qualify. So again, here are some of the things that do not qualify. I want to mention the last bullet point there also is that you can't have any sales to prohibited countries. And we follow a country limitation schedule that the Export-Import Bank of the United States provides. And basically, it's a listing of all of the 190 plus countries in the world, and it lists whether there's support in that country or there isn't any support in that country. And again, if you're considering to export, or if you are an exporter, you have to pay attention to what countries are there any are sales prohibited to, and or if there are any sales that there's any restrictions to as well. So definitely want to mention that. Next slide. So as a small business, I will say sometimes, you may be in the market for a lender, right? And so you may say, okay, I've spoken to the Small Business Development Center, I've spoken to a SCORE mentor, I think I've got everything set up. I really am looking for financing. Well, we have this tool on our website that's called Lender Match. And you can see the website is there, sba.gov/lender match, where you can go in and put in your requirements of what you would, of your company. This is what you need. This is what where your company is located. Interested lenders will then respond within 2 days to your inquiry. You can then talk to those lenders, and there is an option that you could either talk to them, or you could have them, you would just be provided with a list and you can call them. So just depending on your need. But basically you can talk to those lenders, see which ones make sense or which ones are offering you a good deal. And then you can apply for that type of loan. Now, just because they're interested does not necessarily mean they're going to give you the loan, right? You still have to qualify under their credit standards, etc. But this at least narrows down the options of you having to go door to door and find out that maybe a particular lender in your neighborhood may not provide or does not offer SBA loans, right? These are actual lenders that do provide SBA financing to those applicants that submit their name and ask for information. Next slide. Okay, so here we have a list of some of our partner organizations or companies that we use, or just how should I say, lenders, right? These are a list of some of the lenders that we utilize. Again, going back to what your need is and what your requirement is, right? So you may want to partner with some of our micro lenders. They provide loans of up to, for up to $50,000. So maybe if your need is within that dollar amount, maybe that's where you need to start, right? Maybe you start with that micro lender. Maybe your need is a little bit bigger. Maybe you want to use our community advantage lenders, right? Or our community development financial institutions. They provide sometimes seed money, sometimes they provide loans, and some of them utilize the SBA programs as well. So again, these are some of the lender programs and lender resources that are out there. And then, of course, I don't want to be remiss without mentioning our SBA 504 program. And I know a lot of the states have similar programs and partnered with the SBA 504. I think it's very, very interesting. So the 504 loan is for an owner-occupied real estate property or let's say equipment that you're looking to purchase. It does allow for up to 90% financing, so you would only come out of pocket 10%. So again, that's very interesting, very attractive for you as a company, because you don't have to put up the 20 or 25% down payment that you would normally have to put in, right? It's only 10%. And also sometimes the terms are a little bit longer than what you would normally get for regular financing. So the 504 program really does make a lot of sense for a lot of companies. Next slide. So let's take a look at some of the known data for companies that are doing international sales. And I think Mo mentioned one of these already, or if not two of them, right? really, there's an opportunity for growth out there. There is an opportunity for growth out there. As you see there, 96% of the consumers live outside of the US. I will say 97% of exporters are small businesses, right? There's business growth. 35% of the US export value is from small businesses. So if you're thinking about exporting, I think this is a good opportunity for you to take a look at that and to see how your business can grow from an export point of view. Next slide. So I know that yeah, so again, the opportunity, I just want to emphasize that it's been proven that companies that export grow their sales as they diversify their customer base. They're more resilient to changes in various markets, and thereby that makes them a lot stronger when it comes to economic volatility, right? Exporting has even helped some companies, excuse me, who have seasonal sales, right? Because you can sell to another part of the country, when you have seasonal sales as well. So that's something to think about. Next slide. The next slide, I believe, talks about our definition of exporting. And I think a lot of times companies kind of get a little bit concerned or wonder, what exactly do I qualify as an exporter? Well, yes. Do you sell or do you produce a product, and is there a payment associated with that product or service that you're providing to a foreign buyer? Right? So export is the production and payment associated with the sale of goods or services to a foreign buyer. Okay, that's the exporting side. So of course, we have 3 different ways we can qualify you as an exporter. So you're either a domestic to foreign, meaning that you have product here and you're selling overseas. A lot of companies do that. I would say a bunch of companies do it that way. You could be a foreign to foreign, meaning that you are here, you invoice from here, but let's say you make your product in India, and directly from India, you're shipping to Europe, to Germany, right? And those German receivables are due to you here in the United States. That would be considered a foreign to foreign, or as some people like to say, drop ship, right? That also would qualify you. And also, let's say if you are an indirect exporter, let's say you provide products to a larger company and they take your product and incorporate it into what product they're exporting and they export it. Right. So let's say you're making widgets, you sell it to ABC Company. ABC Company takes your widgets, incorporates it into, let's say, their equipment, their machinery, what have you, and then they export it. Well, guess what? You are an indirect exporter because you are selling to someone who is exporting then your product. So you would qualify as well. So let's take a look at some of the programs we have. Next slide. And I do want to be cognizant of time here, but okay. So here's just a quick listing of some of our products that we offer. We have 3 different programs. Next slide, please. The first one is our Export Express. And it's probably our more flexible program because it could be structured as either a line of credit or as a term loan. The maximum amount for this loan is about $500,000. And again, we have pros and cons for this product, right? So pros, it's flexible. Lenders can quickly approve it. They use credit scoring for it, etc. The cons is that it only goes up to 500,000. And of course, there is additional paperwork that is required. There is a questionnaire that is required because we need to know what countries you're selling into, what are the product, etc., things of that nature. Next slide. Next slide is our international trade loan. And this is a term loan that is for the purchase of equipment or the purchase of property. That is going to eventually increase the exports of the company. For this, loan, we also require an export business plan that documents how this purchase or this financing that's going to take place is going to increase the export sales. In some cases, it could be, let's say you're buying a new equipment for your existing facility, but that new equipment is state of the art. It's going to increase your output, and therefore by increasing your output, you're going to be able to fulfill export orders quicker and more of them. So definitely that would be something that would be in that export business plan. We do need to have like 12-month projections, etc. But again, this is a great tool. And the reason why I guess I kind of failed to mention this, but another reason why lenders like these export programs is because we provide them with a higher guarantee rate than the normal loans, right? So if they can fit you into an international trade loan, they would probably rather do that than put you into a regular 7A loan, right? So definitely something to think about there. Next slide, please. Is our export working capital line of credit. And this is a revolving monitored line of credit. It's based on your foreign receivables and your export inventory that you have. Or it could be set up as to finance your purchase order for exports. Again, this is export only. 100% export only. And there you have the pros and the cons as well. Next slide. So we do have a new initiative as well, which is our Made in America. We're now restoring small businesses back in America, the manufacturing of them, and we're trying to find ways to help those manufacturers bring their businesses and/or grow their businesses here. Next slide. So we've put in place three different things, or I should say there's three different things as a result of this Made in America manufacturing initiative. So we've actually put in place a red tape hotline where you can provide our Office of Advocacy with any challenges or barriers that you have in selling your product overseas. So if you come across any obstacles that is not letting you compete in the overseas market, please reach out to our Office of Advocacy. As well, in order to be successful, we know that you need to have access to working capital. So we're already seeing that we have several programs. We have one already in play, and we have another one that will be rolling out shortly to help specifically manufacturers or companies that have certain NAICS codes to help them with their working capital needs. Okay, we know that work in process is probably a big component of your business, and this definitely will help you with that. And then again, as small business manufacturers grow, we encourage you to take a look at foreign markets as another outlet to expand internationally, right? And to grow your business and to provide you with additional sales. So I think that's another great avenue for you as a small business. Next slide, please. I think this one describes our working capital pilot program, the first loan I mentioned. And this was really put in place to assist small business manufacturers with their working capital needs. Okay. Similar to our export working capital, it's a revolving line of credit. It can be structured asset-based, meaning based on your receivables and inventory. Or it could be transaction-based, based on a specific contract that you may have, or a pro forma invoice that you may have, a confirmed purchase order. So this definitely helps to provide you with that type of financing. Also, this loan, unlike the export working capital, this one can actually be 100% domestic. So I did want to mention that as well. And this loan can actually also include both domestic and international in one line. So this is something that is very, very different for SBA. We've never really combined our loan programs in the past. We've always liked them segregated. But in this case, we felt that most small businesses do about 10% of their business is export sales. So therefore, having two separate lines doesn't make sense. Whereas under this particular line, it does allow a small business who has some export sales to provide financing all in one line, so that there isn't this segregation of assets and et cetera. It just makes it a little bit easier. Next slide. And I think that may be it, but I'm not sure. Yes, it is it. So thank you so much for your time this afternoon. And Kathy, I'll send it back over to you.
Thank you, Abby. I see that Victoria also dropped a link in the chat box. Victoria, what is that specifically for?
So I put 2 links in the chat box. One is for the red tape hotline, or the red hot tape line, whatever you want to spin it.
Yeah,
so
the red tape hotline, yes.
Yeah. And then the second link I put in there is a link through to the SBA's meeting.
Perfect.
Okay.
The Made in America, yes.
If any of our attendees have any questions, we'll stay on for another minute. We'd be happy to answer them. In the meantime, I do want to thank Mo and Flavio and Abby and Victoria for taking time out of their busy schedule to provide a mountain of information today. And certainly, great place to start for businesses that are looking to export. And I did want to plug Mo's event again one more time. Mo, did you want to give the particulars there?
Yes, yep. It's going to be on September 11, 9:30 a.m. at Buffalo State, the Birchfield Pinnacle Center, which is right at the corner of Elmwood and Rockwell Hall, Buffalo State, Birchfield Pinnacle Center, September 11, 9:30. Please RSVP using that link. And if you have any questions, thank you.
Excellent. And as I mentioned, I will be sending out the slide deck a little later today. I'll also send out the link to the recording when we have that up on our website. And as you leave today's session, you will have a new window pop up that will bring you to a survey. We really appreciate your comments. It helps us plan future events. And if you want us to reach out directly to you afterwards, we'd be happy to do that as well. You just include that information in your survey. So again, thank you everyone, and we hope to see you at a future event.
Thank you.
Thank you.